Don't click off. Stroll with me through my city as I discuss when I was first diagnosed with MS, the pressures of life, how I had to keep hope and faith at an all-time high, and have to pray constantly around the clock just so I could see better days. So, y'all, I'm a single mother of three, working two jobs at the time of being diagnosed. I didn't know nothing but to hustle hard. I didn't know nothing but to make it happen, because if I didn't do it, who was going to do it for my babies? As I look back, I realized I neglect myself big time. I had 3 kids. Only thing I knew was to hustle hard or die trying. I didn't know no other way. I had to get it in regardless of what my body was saying to me, ignoring all signs that something was going wrong. It was 2015 in the cold winter months of November and December, and I noticed that my hands were more numb than normal. And why I say more numb than normal is because my hands been numb for years. I first thought it was just the cold weather, me not wearing gloves like I should have been. Going into 2016, I noticed my right hand to be exact, had a tremor in it. And it was very small, very slight, but noticeable. As the days passed by, the tremors got worse, and I finally set a doctor's appointment. I finally was eager to get in to see what this was so I can get back to grinding. And although I set this doctor's appointment, my body wouldn't slow down. The tremors had progressed in my right hand, so I lost all ability to write. I started using my left hand. So what would take me 5 minutes took me 3 hours to write. I struggled. I struggled hard to the point I started having problems with my left hands. Now, at this time in my life, I'm always trying to get my body right. I'm always trying to get my health together. So I was working out. I remember going to the mall with my son one day, and I wanted to do the stairs. He wanted to do the escalator. So I took him down on the escalator. I ran up the steps, and as I was coming down, I heard a snap in my right leg. And that snap changed my life forever. After that snap, my body went haywire. I started going into fight or flight modes, meaning I would just jump up out my sleep for urgency, for a situation, for a defense. And it was nothing. Nothing was going on, but my body couldn't tell the difference. I started having burning sensations in my right arm and my right leg. And when I say it was burning sensations, I looked down at my leg for the fire and never seen a flame. Now, I continued to work like this. And then one morning when I was getting off from work, I noticed that I could not make it to my car. It literally took me 6 minutes to cross across the parking lot to my car. It's like my brain went haywire. Like my brain had left my body and my body had left my brain. They were not connected. I had to think myself across this parking lot. And as I was thinking myself across this parking lot, I was lowering myself to the ground, almost in a position to crawl across the parking lot, because I knew my balance was unstable. At this point, I know something is seriously wrong. It's a total disconnect between my brain and my body. So I'm like, let me go to the hospital. I'm not going to make it to this doctor's appointment. When I get to the hospital, I break down everything that has been happening to me leading up to this date. They sit up there and gave me a CAT scan and said, well, you know what? We just think it's vertigo. We think it's vertigo. We're going to give you some meds and we're going to send you home. And that's just what they did. Now, I took these meds, and I'm like, okay, I'll see how I feel after I take these meds. I just didn't think it was vertigo. I felt like it was something more in my spirit. I took the meds. I went back to work. I said, nope, something ain't right, because I fought through that whole shift. I fought through that morning, getting my clients ready. I fought trying to get breakfast. I fought. And I said, no. Skip this, something is wrong. But I knew I had 2 days off, so I was going to ride it out to see what was going on within these 2 days and see if I continued to take the medicine, would it get better. Well, I took a shower, and I took the hottest, steamiest shower of my life. When I say the shower was so hot, it was hot. Bathroom fogged up, walls was wet. And baby, by the time I made it out that shower, I was almost on the floor. I sat down for a few to get myself all together. After I got dressed, I went straight to the kitchen and I started preparing a meal for my kids. Now, remind you, I just got out the hot, steamy shower and I'm standing over the stove cooking. By the time I got ready to leave out that kitchen, baby, I was falling over to the right, okay? I thought somebody came up, put something in front of me, and I tripped and fell. Somebody hit me from the back and knocked me to the right. I didn't know what was going on, but all I know is my body was going down. I felt like Mary J. Blige in that goddamn moment. I'm going down. and it ain't nobody around. Right after this happened, an associate of mine had called me, and he said, why don't you go to the hospital and get a second opinion? These hospitals misdiagnose you. Now, me, y'all, I am loyal to a fault. When I mess with you, I mess with you. When I go somewhere, I go somewhere. So I've been going to this hospital for years. I never thought to go to another hospital. That's disloyal, right? So I'm like, nah, I've been going to this hospital. He said, listen, just think about it. You still having the same symptoms. They diagnosed you with this. You done took the medicine and ain't getting no better. Think about it. There's nothing wrong with it. So something in his voice was convincing. But baby, my body was even more convincing. So I picked up the phone. I called my mother. And I'm like, listen, I took a shower. I cooked here something to eat, and I'm being knocked off my feet. Something is going on. I know my body. Something is not right. So she came over. My cousin friend was leaving out the apartment complex, and she met her over here. And she was like, go to this hospital. This is where I went. They treated me really, really well. Well, I get to this hospital, I go through triage, I get to the back, and the doctor came in. I promise you, this man was not in this room a whole minute, and he looked at me. He said, we've been waiting on patients like you all day long. He said, instead, we keep getting colds and flus. But guess what? Let your family know that you're going to be here for a while, so they can go ahead and go home, and you can go ahead and get settled in. But you got a nice stay ahead of you. It's crazy because I knew whatever it was in my body, I was not going to be defeated, and that they were going to find out what it was. So all throughout that night, y'all, I took so many MRIs and so many CAT scans. I was poked and pried so many times. IV bags going through me. It was crazy. The next day came. I'm like, baby, I got to take a shower. We got to get me in the shower. They like, well, we have a do not fall. We got to get somebody in here to assist you and da-la-la. They really don't want you up out of bed. I said, baby, I don't know what they don't want, and I don't know how they don't want it. But guess what? I'm used to taking care of myself. I'm used to taking care of other people. So what I need to do is get in the shower. Now, I got my mama coming up here. If you need her to sit here with me, she'll sit here with me. My kids going to come up. Everybody can sit here, but I need to get set up because I got to wash my ass. I cannot just lay here and not wash my ass. I done been in every machine. I done sweated. I got sweat coming from all over. Get me in the shower, y'all. So I managed to get myself in the shower, but this was the telltale sign, right? Got ready to walk, and I couldn't walk. I literally needed a walker to walk into the shower. I literally couldn't stand up on my own 2 feet. When I say in that moment, I felt so freaking defeated. All I knew was this was not going to be my end game. But in that moment, I felt so defeated because I didn't know what was going on inside of me. When I say I cried in that shower. I got in that shower and I cried. I didn't know if I'd make it out, but I knew I couldn't let that be. I couldn't get in my mind and just sit there. The thought entered and it soon left. And the only thing I knew was to pray. I knew to have hope. I seen myself. At this time, I could visualize myself running, walking, doing everything I wanted to do, back on my feet again. And after I got out the shower, y'all, I sat on that bed and I just was drying myself off and thinking, what could possibly be going on within my body? So many thoughts ran rapid in my head. So many thoughts of me being up and on my feet again settled in my head. And every time a doubt came to me, I immediately cast it out and thought what I wanted to happen to me. I knew where I wanted to be. And that's where I kept my mind at. Later on, I found out that I'm manifesting what I want to happen in my life. And I'm like, I don't know about nothing else, but I'm going to be on my feet. Now, the doctor came in the next day, and he was like, I think this is MS. I really think this is MS. I'm like, no, not even really knowing what MS was, just remembering someone I took care of with MS in the past. I'm like, no, I don't think it's MS. I don't think it's that at all. He said, no, everything points to MS. He said, you have one small dot on the back of your neck. It's spinal. He said, when I say it's so insignificant, it is, but it's very significant because of the things that you have told me that you have experienced. And I'm like, okay. And that, as far as the numbness in my hand, the burning sensation in my arm and my leg, the tingling feelings I have, the falling over, not having my balance, me being disturbed while I'm taking a shower in heat, while I'm cooking, me being affected. And And he also asked me, what is my stress? How was my stress in the last days leading up to this? I told him I've been stressed for years. For the last several years, I've been going through a lot and I've been under a lot of stress. So he said, I think this is MS. He said, we're going to run some more tests on you and we're going to get to the bottom of this before you leave this hospital. I said, okay, fine, let's do it. But I still don't think it's MS. So I was Googling up stuff and bringing it back to him, asking him, do you think it could be this? Do you think it could be that? He like, nah, I'm still thinking it's MS. But what we going to do is start treating you with some steroids. Now, that was a decision to treat me with some steroids. They gave me a bolus. And when they gave me this bolus of steroids, I was supposed to get it for 3 days. Well, however, the nurses did not run the steroids for 3 days. They thought they was running it, but they were not running the steroids. I don't know. You go figure on that. But I did get one dosage of the steroids, and it wasn't even the complete dosage. And this was on my last night there. But before we get to that part, let me talk about the last test that they gave me, because they done ran out of all other options and tests. They've given me everything. They gave me a spinal tap. And he said, this spinal tap is going to be the telltale sign. Now, I'm going to go ahead and send you home. But I don't think all the results are going to come back. So you'll have to call, make your doctor's appointment, and get your results. I say, no problem. So we did the spinal tap. And, y'all, I didn't have time to be scared throughout none of this. I didn't have time to worry about none of this. I see a lot of people being fear about spinal taps, these different, the MRIs and etc. I didn't have time to be claustrophobic in them. I didn't have time to do anything. Only thing I needed to know was you need to do what you got to do to get to where we need to get, and that was the results. So I did the spinal tap. The first fluids tested negative. I had no bands in it. There was nothing going on. But the rest of the fluids would not come back until after I was discharged, y'all. So now when I'm leaving this hospital, I'm still not able to walk. I still don't have my strength. I look at somebody and they look at me with this look in their eyes like, bitch, I'm glad you're sick. And I'm like, wow, maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm tired, exhausted, and I'm going to overlook it. I get home, y'all, and by the time I get ready to walk up to the door, I could not make it to my own door, not even on a walker. Literally, my body was just that fatigued. It was just that drained that I couldn't even make it to my front door. And from my parking spot to my front door is not far at all. I literally was falling down, which let me know whatever is going on is more serious than I thought, because I haven't even regained my strength back. And foolish of me, came home, got myself ready, and 2 days later jumped on a plane to Florida. Still without the ability to fully walk on my own. Feeling a little bit stronger than what I was when I left the hospital. Want to hear more? Subscribe to my page and hit the notification bell.